welcome back to the After Dark Film Society. We are your hosts. I'm Sunny.
I'm Ashley.
I'm B.
I'm Chloe.
Oh, look at that. We did it even in a good beat on time.
Hell yeah.
If if you don't know what the setup of this podcast is, I really don't know how to help you at this point. But in short, we're watching movies that generally have the cast of Dead Poet Society in them, because that's our favorite movie. But we have a bit of an exception today. But before we get to the exception movie, we're going to talk about a different movie. First movie we're going to be talking about is Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken, which is just a banger of a movie, an all-timer for me. I watched this movie by myself, a while before trying to get other people to watch it. And when we all watched it together, it was a very eye-opening experience.
Yeah,
That's an inside joke.
Art guys.
This movie has our own Richard Cameron, Dylan Kussman in it. He plays a stable hand pretty much, but there's a lot more to this movie to discuss. The first thing to note is that it is based off of a true story that is about this woman, Sonora Webster, who was a horse diver. Horse diving, we'll get into it. It was kind of like a circus act, I guess, is the best way to it was pitched as an attraction at fairs and carnivals, and it ended up on in Atlantic City, New Jersey, on the Steel Pier, which is very famous for kind of grand attractions like this, where someone would ride a horse off an edge and jump into a big body of water. But let's get into when it comes to the story, because it's something that happened in real life. I think we'll have a hard time criticizing, why would someone choose to do this? It's it doesn't really matter because they did do it. But I think there are a lot of creative choices in this movie to discuss and giggle about. But I want to, get into kind of the meat and potatoes of this movie. Would anyone, you can start with anything if you want to talk about a thing that interested you, or if you want to talk about your favorite part. I'll just kind of open the door for you three to start us off with a discussion point.
Low key, this movie confused the hell out of me.
Well,
I don't know why.
Maybe we can set you on the right course. I have kind of the main plot points on screen here, so I can try and guide you, but please tell us, B, what do you think this movie was about?
So there's a girl, and I can't even remember how this happens. Horse diving. Dylan Kussman runs a hot dog stand.
He doesn't just run a hot dog stand. He's an inventor. B. He's
the hot dog swinging, hash slinging factor. And then there's a guy who is way too old for the girl, and I think there's two plots mixed up, but I don't know if I am. But do both of them have men that are way too old to be trifling with these women?
I think Man in the Moon, he's just a little too old.
He's only 2 years older, where this one is at least
he's twice her age in this.
Yeah, okay. Too old to be trifling with a young woman such as she, and
she's 15 or 16, I think.
an infant, and she's
A
like,
child.
horses, woo! I like horses. And she rides the horse and they jump in the water multiple times, at least twice, I think. And she goes blind. That's it.
Wait. Before we get to she goes blind.
I mean, it does happen, so
That is the kind of draw of the movie, I think, was supposed to be that she was in some way disabled from horse diving, which I have a lot of things to say about that. Not about her in
being
like real
disabled.
life becoming disabled, because like I don't know, that's rude. But she is dead, so I don't feel that bad about it.
Pour one out.
Okay.
Wait, can I try my hand at the plot?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, from what I can remember, this girl, her name's Sonora, right?
Yes.
Am I saying that right? Yeah. And her sister lost their parents and they're like living with their aunt now. And she's always causing trouble and getting in trouble. So the aunt like straight up is like, I'm gonna send you to a girl's like orphanage or something, but keep her little sister, which honestly is already crazy in itself. Just being like, yeah, I'm getting rid of you because you're the one that sucks, but I'll keep the cute, sweet little one. Um, so Sonora decides to run away from home because she's just done with this crap. Like, she cut all her hair off and she's done with everybody. And she finds herself at the carnival where she meets Clifford and sees horse diving for the first time and decides, that's what I'm gonna do. So she goes and begs the guy that, like, has all the horse diving equipment and the girl and stuff, and he just is refusing to take her. He's like, "Who's this annoying little girl? She needs to leave me alone."
The uncle from Spider-Man.
Yes, Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben
And
from the Tobey Maguire
yes, that one.
Spider-Man.
And of
Who wears
course, she's
extensions.
stubborn. Yeah, and she sticks her ground. And I forget exactly how he caves, but she agrees to come on just as like help. Like, not exactly take on horse diving right away. So she's like a spare stable hand. And then the girl that does the horse diving, she decides to go off and become an actress. So now he has nobody to horse dive, and Sonora's been secretly practicing the whole time. So she takes it over and ends up becoming like the famous one on posters going everywhere. And they somehow obtain Clifford again, and he becomes the farmhand instead of her. And while all of this is happening, she's falling in love with the guy that's like way too old for her, who is the son of Uncle Ben.
Yes.
Which that's like a big reveal. Like, you don't know this, and then all of a sudden he's like dad, and you're supposed to sit there and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. And they get in a fight.
In
And
real
he
life. In the movie, it was a shock because they didn't like connect those two characters at first, but I think that was not a surprise. I think that the horse diving thing in real life, from what I've read, was more of a family-run event than it
that makes
was kind of depicted in the movie. But please keep going.
yeah, we're getting towards the end here. But anyway, so this guy, he's like, screw you, dad, and he leaves Sonora and everybody behind after he's already like made Sonora fall in love with him and stuff. And she continues to horse dive and everything, and he comes back like later on, and then the dad dies against a tree when they're like traveling to New York City or to like Atlantic City or something. So now the old guy, well, the older guy than her, has to take over the diving business and get her set up in Atlantic City. So she has to perform on a different horse, right?
Yes.
And the
So
it's
what
scared.
happened? What happened was the horse that she usually rode, it got sick, got colic, and was kind of missing in action, or yeah, missing in action for a little bit because he was sick. Colic is like, it's real serious on a horse, and so they were like, "Oh, you shouldn't ride Lightning, because he's still recovering." So they're putting her on another horse called Red Lips, who is real kind of freaked out about all the noise in Atlantic City, and takes a little tumble off of the high dive, which is
Yeah.
not planned. And Sonora, with all due respect, like a dumbass, keeps her eyes open as she hits the water and
Which is crazy work.
detaches her corneas, which is
Yeah.
not funny.
Well,
No,
and then
it's
also
funny.
she refuses to go to the doctor after everyone's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "I'm fine. I just kept my eyes open as I hit the water at like
Yeah.
30
From
miles
like
per hour."
15 feet up.
Yeah,
And it
from
wasn't just a little
high in
tumble,
the
it
air.
was a fucking boom.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it was a
belt
boom.
drop smack into the water, and then refuses to go to the doctors, and then is like somehow surprised she wakes up the next day blind. Like, girl.
Not that
Um,
in like 1914 or whenever this took place, not that they would have been able to do anything about detached
yeah, there was nothing.
corneas.
But anyways, so now she's like blind and she's ruined her career, but she's marrying the guy too old for her now. Because he asked her to marry him right before she like detached her corneas, which in front of
Yes,
everybody too.
in front of
It's
everyone.
embarrassing.
Yeah, super embarrassing. Like, let me everyone watch me ask this 15-year-old girl to be my wife. Um, but he decides to stay with her, and we made inappropriate jokes about how she went blind before she could see him. um,
Did we?
yeah,
I
Yes, we
forgot
did.
about that.
you're like, damn, before you get to see him naked, that sucks. Like,
Yeah.
but anyways, now she's blind and she doesn't want to give up on her dream, so she lightnings back and better than ever. And she practices mounting him while blind and basically hijacks the show to prove to everybody that she can do it. And she
With the
does.
help of
And
COVID.
yay, she could do it still. Happy ending. Yeah.
Skill issue.
I mean, that's pretty much the crux of what happened. Um, it is it's a very sanitized, like, this came out in 93 or something, so it's a pretty sanitized, and it all worked out in the end kind of ending. Sonora Webster was a real person. She was a real horse diver, and also her little sister at the beginning, was also a horse diver. They horse dove together,
The heck? Why'd
but
they cut her out of the film then?
I'm not sure. And I may have told you guys this before, but she was not really a huge fan of this movie. She felt like it didn't really resemble her life. Her sister Arnett said the same thing, and I have a quote here, from the New York Times. Arnett said, "The movie made a big deal about having the courage to go on riding after she lost her sight, but the truth was, riding the horse was the most fun you could have, and we just loved it so. We didn't want to give it up. Once you were on the horse, there really wasn't much to do but hold on. The horse was in charge."
Hmm.
Real.
Listen. Listen. I I did horse riding for 10 years. I take great issue with once you were on the horse, there wasn't much to do but hold on, even in the context of horse diving. First of all, horse diving is so fucking dangerous. It is spellbinding to me that it went on for as long as it did. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but horses are really fucking heavy. And if they land on top of you in water and kick you in the chest, you're dead.
Yeah.
So, and not that I think I need to say that. I think everyone pretty much agrees that this was a dumb fucking attraction. But the other thing I want to say about horse riding is that it is a two-soul sport. It is the person and it is the horse. You're supposed to work together to, accomplish, whether you're doing a dressage or show jumping, cross country, all of that. You're supposed to do it together. It honestly kind of proves that it was a terrible idea because it's not safe to put your entire it's not a good idea to let the horse take charge when you are on the horse, especially, I mean, they were wearing swimsuits, they weren't wearing, protective gear, they weren't wearing helmets. Also, horses are not exceptional swimmers. They can tread water a little bit, but they aren't known for their ability to swim. But on top of that, the pool, must have had to be pretty deep because again, horses weigh a lot. And when you are going at the rate of speed toward water that a giant horse is gonna make a big splash. It's gonna go far into the pool. That's my rant about horse
No, there's
diving
a
and
lot of issues. Like,
Yeah, I also feel like maybe it's not something that we should force horses to do because it's fucking dangerous and the horses
well, so
can't
that's the other
communicate.
thing. That's the other
Um,
thing is like there there is a lot of debate in animal activist groups about if horse riding is, you know, indeed a good idea. And from what I can tell is like obviously if you are hurting the horse, that is bad and that is abusive. But there are I don't know like how well researched that this is, but just as someone who rode for a long time is there are many indications to me at least that horses in some sense enjoy, you know, show jumping or dressage because they're massive and if they didn't like what they were doing, they could just kick you in the head and kill you. Um, I've never seen that happen, luckily, but I have definitely been on a horse who was not interested in what we were doing and did not want me on them anymore. And what you do is you get the fuck off because they're can kick you in the chest. So, you are absolutely right. That is not something that we should be making horses do. The
difference between
reason
like
that
riding a horse normally on like stable ground and also between that and getting a horse to jump off like
having them
a
launch
fucking
themselves off the edge, yeah.
like a diving
Um,
board.
right. So Doc Carver, who is Uncle Ben, in real life, I need you guys to hear two things about this man. First of all, he got the idea for horse diving as an attraction when he was on a horse himself and he went across a bridge that was not stable. It was quite dilapidated and it broke and he and his horse fell off into a river below. And
Huh.
he was like, I have a great idea.
Wait a minute. That's
Um,
low-key insane.
the second thing I want you to hear about this man is Ashley alluded to said that at a certain point Doc Carver passes away um, before they can get to Atlantic City, and that's when Al, his son, takes over. In real life, Doc Carver, it wasn't a sudden death necessarily, but he was in failing health because get this, one of his horses who did horse diving um injured itself and died horse diving and he was really torn up about it And with that and his failing health, the depression of losing this horse, he also died.
He
Is
died
that
of a
not fucking
broken
crazy?
heart. Yeah,
That
a
is
broken heart through
absurd.
his
So in the movie,
wow.
like he kind of is just like, I'm tired. I'm gonna go sit by this tree, and then he just kind of dies under the tree, and the rest of them are like 10 feet away from him having a picnic, and then that's it. And a dandelion blows in the breeze, and it's like really funny. Um,
Yeah.
but in real life he was, mourning the loss of his horse, but I also don't feel that bad because he was mourning the loss of his horse that was injured doing the thing he was making it do, which was wildly dangerous.
Like karma. I don't want to
Oh,
say it.
mhm. Let's talk about Dylan, because Dylan is really the highlight of this
Yeah,
movie for us.
he's the best
Um,
part of
He really is. And it kind of sucks because in real life there was no Clifford. He seemed to just be made up for the movie, a convenient character, kind of.
that makes so
But
much sense, honestly.
yeah, because I think so. Clifford is he's a young inventor. When we first meet him, he's at like a state fair, and he's invented one of those like Costco rolly things for hot dogs to cook them.
Out of the bike
Um,
wheel.
okay, so at the end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, he he's like, guys, I have made something incredible come out front. And he made a giant circle, a sphere, a cage, in which he gets on a bike and drives in a loop, in a loop-de-loop, over and over as people cheer him on. And he comes out. He comes out of the loop, and he goes up to Sonora, who is blind at this point, and he goes, "Just makes you think. Even you can even do the impossible." Or he says something super corny about like doing what they thought you couldn't do or something. It is the first time I watched that movie, I nearly pissed myself laughing because I could not believe what I was looking at. He's an inventor. He wants to change the world. He wants to make something that I don't know what he wants, but what I do know is he is much more age appropriate for Sonora. And if let's remove the context of these were real people for just a moment. In the movie, just as characters, he was clearly the better option.
Yeah, that's true.
He's
Just dress
cuter.
that up.
First meet, we gotta talk about what happens when they first meet. You can't forget.
Oh, she spits on him.
On his finger, specifically.
So I think he burns himself, and she's like, "Oh, here." And rubs it in his hand and is like, "Yeah, that'll fix that. Anyway, I gotta go, bye." And he goes, "Oh yeah, and thanks for spitting on me."
That's about it.
This script is spellbinding. I can't believe it didn't win every award at the Academy that year.
We
Yes,
talk
go ahead,
about
Chloe.
Marie, and when Sonora tries to copy Marie and become grown up enough for her 10 years older boyfriend.
Yes. So, there's a scene when Sonora has she's working as a stable hand, and she is in some way trying to impress Al, in another way kind of trying to prove that she is grown up enough to be a horse diver. And she does what I think a lot of young girls may have done, which was steal someone's cosmetics and apply them like the world depends on it. And this is the 1910s, 1920s. So
I think it's the 30s. The Great Depression was like a
30s,
background thing going on with all the
I
money
don't
making
actually know what time
houses.
period this takes place in.
The
I want to
30s.
say late 20s into the 30s.
Yeah.
It all kind of blends
Yeah,
together.
because the aunt was like, "I can't afford your dumbass," and like booted her. Like, I feel like that was a pivotal part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's poor, and maybe Clifford's an orphan too.
That's the other thing about Clifford is we don't actually know who he is, how he ended up
Just there.
making the Costco rolly things for hot dogs, or even really how he ends up becoming a stable hand. He kind of just shows up at the farm and is like, I work here now. That's the thing about this movie. It is dumb as hell. However, it is a movie that the first time I watched it, I was like, this was pretty goofy. I don't really care. But it stuck with me so hard. And the next time I watched it, I was like, this has the, like, I don't want to say comedic vibe because it isn't made like it's a comedy movie, but it's goofy in a way that makes it very charming. I don't speak for everyone here, but I think it's it is a 3-star movie that has stuck with me in a way that only a 5-star movie does. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen it twice now, and I definitely say, like, I do enjoy it. Like, it's not a terrible movie at all. Like, if it's
Not
on,
at
I will
all.
watch it. Not at all.
It
Like, it's
is
actually a decent watch, a little bit.
it like obvious it's not reportedly historically accurate according to Sonora Webster herself, but like, if you kind of forget that it was a real story and they had to abide by real life stuff, like it is actually a very like charming movie about how your wild spirit shouldn't be broken, and as silly as it is, it's silly in a way that wasn't making me roll my eyes and go, "What the fuck is happening?" every 5 seconds.
It's rewatchable. You can watch it 5 times and you still don't feel bored.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen it at least 4 times, from watching it in my private time and showing it to you guys. I I actually this holds a special place in my heart, maybe because I am a horse girl, um, that I relate a lot to Sonora and having, this affection for horses and this connection and feeling like I understand the horse because I feel it. I understand how the horse feels. Like that is literally me. So, um I don't know for you guys how much that really comes across.
I mean, I personally have never been horseback riding or even really that close to a horse in that way, but I'm also like a very empathetic person and a sucker for anybody in movies. Like, I immediately become attached so I can relate to how she feels, I guess. Which sounds silly, but yeah.
I was just going to say, I think as much as the plot is a bit crazy and faith, trust, and pixie dust, it does hit all the points of found family, coming of age, and an inspiring ending. So it does have things that stick with you. even if trying to describe the movie to someone makes you feel like you're going insane.
Yeah, it is. I think it would actually be a great movie to study in that sense. Not in that it is like a great technical marvel or anything, but that the plot structure of it is actually very strong, which is getting a bit into the weeds of, what are the building blocks of found family or coming of age. But you're absolutely right. Like, it hits all of those points in ways that don't even really feel contrived, I feel like. It does. It feels a bit corny, but it does feel genuine, I feel like.
We ignore the fact that Clifford was right there. They could have been perfect together, riding
The
around on a
freckles?
motorcycle in a cage for the rest of
Oh,
their
he's
lives.
so
But no,
cute in this movie too. We brushed over that. Like he's adorable.
I mean, I don't know if it was because they were out in the sun a lot, but his freckles come across in a way that is like the gingerness has been amplified to like 120% for him. And his name is Clifford, like the big red dog.
we keep using the smiling cowboy emoji to represent him, like in the chat, because that is just him in the movie, straight up.
I mean, he's country boy, I love you. That is he is the country boy that that person was referring to.
Country boy, I love you.
Blah. Anyway, I think that that is enough of Wild Hearts. But before I pass it off to Ashley, who's going to be doing Man in the Moon with us, you're probably wondering why we're doing this movie, seeing as there are no boys from Dead Poet Society in it, and you're absolutely right about that. But if you look closely, there is someone very special to us in this movie. We have a Waterston in this movie. Um, Sam Waterston, who is the father of James Waterston, our Gerard Pitts. Most I don't know how universal Sam Waterston is to like the normies. He's very well known in entertainment. He is a Golden Globe winner, an Emmy winner. This people in the States definitely know him from Law and Order, but he was also on Grace and Frankie, which was on Netflix, and he was nominated for an Academy Award for his performance in The Killing Fields, which is, I know that this sounds like a weird thing to say, probably my favorite war movie, but I would say his most important contribution to the world was creating his children. The other Waterston that you've probably heard of is Catherine Waterston, who was in the Fantastic Beasts franchise. Tina, I think her name was. And fun fact about the Fantastic Beasts franchise, um, they didn't have a screenwriter or an author from which that work was based off of. Uh, they don't exist.
And
Weird how
also, we're
that
doing a
happened.
Sam movie because we make the rules and nothing is real. And we like having
Sam,
fun.
Sam, I don't know exactly how this happened. I think I may have started this, um, because I think I I love Sam Waterston. I've seen every episode of Law and Order, uh, and he's a phenomenal actor. He's well known in the Shakespearean circles, especially in New York. And so I kind of forced this interest of him on everyone else, and it has stuck because it's Sam Waterston. He's
Exactly.
so he's so lovely. So he is getting included in this and in some instances. But another thing about Man in the Moon is that it is a movie that Ashley had seen before, that she grew up with it. And so it kind of just connected to have him or have this movie be in our rotation. And I'll pass it off to you, Ashley, to do Man in the Moon.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's actually a good thing you brought that up because I was trying to remember when writing down my notes how we even suggested Man in the Moon because I feel like I suggested it before we realized Sam was in it, but I can't remember. I don't remember, but yeah,
Possible, yeah, I don't remember exactly. I think when we were just looking for movies to watch, you may have mentioned it, and when I looked it up, I said, Sam's in that movie."
and then it became an immediate yes, add to the
Yeah.
list. Um, so like my fun fact about this movie is I watched it when I was little, like maybe like 10. Okay, and I'm not joking, it traumatized me. Like I used to have a reoccurring dream about this movie and I remembered liking it and I would always watch it, but I would turn it off before the end, which we'll get to. So when we all rewatched it together, that was my first time watching it fully through since I was like 10 years old because of like the
Wow.
PTSD it gave me. But Man on the Moon is interesting. So Reese Witherspoon, who's just insanely famous now, Legally Blonde, all of those insane things.
The Reese
Um,
Witherspoon book club.
yes, like she was the reason like Daisy Jones and the Six even got like a TV show. Big
Mhm.
actress. Love her dearly. This is her first ever movie. And like this was her debut. And you know what? She is like the best part of it. She's so good.
No, I was gonna say, for this being literally the first time she was, on screen, she handles it like she is a seasoned
Yeah.
actrice. Like, she's not like a it doesn't feel like she's a child actor in this. She feels like I'm sure that she did, like, theater or
Yeah.
commercials or whatever, but this is the first kind of professional, um, like, she's holding it up well with every other actor in this who have been acting for years.
Yeah. And so, does anyone want to get into the plot for me? Because it's an interesting one.
So Reese Witherspoon plays a girl called Danny, who's a bit of a tomboy, and she doesn't like dressing up in her church clothes. They're very feminine. She's more running around in the woods compared to her older sister, who's more of an example of a slightly more socially acceptable young woman, we'll say. And she meets a boy on the farm next door, and they sneak out to go swimming, and they kind of have a little thing going on between them. And then he starts to see her older sister, and then he dies. And there's some dramatic things that happen in between. But that's kind of the main points before we get into Pam's big role in this movie, I think.
Yes, yes, that's pretty much the gist. So like what you're kind of missing there a little bit is like her and her sister are always on the outs already because it's one of those relationships where the parents are like, "Why can't you be more like your sister?" And her sister's just like this straight A, perfect girl, and she's just sick of her shit. She's like, "Why do you have to be so good at everything?" And the neighbor boy actually moved back with his family who originally lived there because his dad died and he had to like step up and become the man of the family and
Yeah, and
stuff.
the mom of that family is, now in an, Eiffel Tower relationship with Sam and his pregnant wife.
Yeah, they're all very intimate with each other, which is a little weird. Like, I don't know. And
Given that this is
they do
set
talk
in, like
about Sam used to date her or something, don't they? Like they refer to her as the girl that got away and he like settled for his wife. Like they straight up say this.
yeah, it is goofy and funny that we are headcanoning as a them in a three-way relationship because this is set, like, in the 50s or 60s. So it
Yeah,
was not like you weren't
have it.
seeing three-way relationships, like you do in Florida now. Um
Yeah, but so Danny, which is Reese Witherspoon's character, they want her to start taking more responsibility around the house, but she's like, "Screw you guys, I'm far from a perfect housewife." And she sneaks out to go swimming, which the swimming hole she always goes to happens to be on the neighboring farm that's been abandoned until this family's come back. And she bumps into Court, the neighbor boy, who's
Court.
2 years older than her. He's 16 and she's 14, and she flips out because, mind you, she's skinny dipping, and he jumps in the water, like, next to her, and they're, like, screaming at each other, and they hate each other. Like, they hate each other, and they're so mad, and she's like, "Don't look," he looks, it's weird. Some of it gets uncomfortable.
It is wildly uncomfortable to imagine an entire set of people watching, of adults watching.
You know what
14-year-old.
else is uncomfortable in this movie?
Oh, no.
Watching Sam Waterston beat his child with a fucking
Okay,
belt.
wait. Before we get to Sam beating his child, can I just want to say something
Yes.
that the reason that they want Reese Witherspoon to start taking on more responsibility in the house and like I don't know if they're saying you need to start dating, but the implication is like you need to grow up and become a housewife. The reason that they're doing all that is because the mom is about to have their fourth baby, and so obviously their parents are going to be occupied with the baby, and there is a third sister who's younger than Reese Witherspoon, who they need to they want her to look after.
Because Maureen's
And
going to college, the older sister.
yes, she's going off.
Yeah.
So she's gonna be the big sister in the household. But yeah, let's get to Sam beating his kids.
Yeah. Well, so right now we're at the part where the neighbor boy and her despise each other. And then he comes over with his family and she realizes, like, oh shit, I'm stuck with him now because my family knows his family really well. And the mom forgot something for dinner and sent them off together in the truck. And, like, mind you, no words are shared. All they do is, like, split a piece of gum and ride with the windows down. And now suddenly things are, like, really intimate, which is, like, 0 to 100 with, like, no context a little bit. But she's just really into Court now. So they keep sneaking off
He has
with
a
each other.
truck. Ashley, he has a
Yeah,
truck.
right. And he's played by Jason London, which, you know, what's fair is fair. I get it, girl. But anyway, she sneaks out one night late to go swimming with him, and it starts storming, and the mom freaks out, the very, very pregnant mom, and goes outside looking for Danny. And that is when she trips over a branch and lands on her stomach and gets very, very hurt and has to go
Can
to
I
the hospital.
mention how impossible it is to take that scene seriously because of the way she fucking falls? Like, fully outstretched, like, face plant, not even trying to catch herself. It's really good.
Yeah, this is awful, but we did rewatch that part because I feel like they could have done many things to at least make it look believable, and instead she just straight up falls in slow motion. Like, they give her so much time to catch herself, and she just doesn't.
Try. She just, like, lifts her arms over her head and eats the branch. Like,
Yeah. But anyways, Sam takes her to the hospital, and now they don't know if her or the baby will make it. And so he comes home angry and decides to blame Danny for all of this. Does anyone want to step through the scene?
He takes Okay, sorry. I was I forgot about the mom falling. Okay, so yeah, Sam 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 comes home from the hospital while the mom is recover. I don't think the baby has been born yet.
No.
But they're examining her and all that. He comes home and he's really, upset, as you would be, or very concerned about your beautiful pregnant wife.
Which he's
Um,
hoping for a boy in all of this too, and he's like, "Don't
he
ruin my
is
chance."
hoping he wants a boy very bad, as every toxic
Man in
man.
the does.
Um, but he comes home and he's upset with Reese Witherspoon because she was out, um, she was out, and that was what sent the mom. His mom had like mom instinct of her daughter not being home, and she went out while it was storming. And so he takes off his belt, and the thing about Sam beating is it's not funny, like, child abuse isn't funny, but in the movie, the way they do it is incredibly obvious of, like, it's it's done, like, around the corner, like, kind of in the shadow, so
Yeah,
obviously
you're
no one is getting hurt, and so it just looks really goofy. Um but then immediately, I mean, he's like, "Ugh, I feel awful about, beating my daughter with a belt, and B, please tell everyone what you said,
Um,
when that happened."
when he was going through his throes of like remorse, it's like, the best thing about beating your child with a belt is the fact that you don't have to. You don't have to do all that.
Which again, like, this is a very, conservative, area. This was kind of commonplace. I can't remember if it was, I can't remember if it was a like, Catholic community or it was some branch of Christianity, and that was kind of commonplace, um, and things like that, and so it's not funny, but the way that it's the same thing with, like, a, pregnant woman falling and getting hurt, like, that's not funny, but the way that it happens in the movie is hysterical.
Yeah.
Um,
But anyways, we'll close it up here so they know the plot a little bit. But now the wife is in the hospital, so Maureen officially is like taking care of the house, the older sister. And Reese Witherspoon's character decides to open up to her about court and is like, "I'm in love with this boy. Can you teach me how to kiss?" And they like practice kissing on their hands and like her sister is fully aware of the fact that Danny is becoming older and falling in love and becoming more like her.
Interested in this specific boy. It isn't like, "Oh, there's a guy I know." She says it's him, right?
Yes, and, like,
So
mind you, beforehand, she was very into Elvis and stuff, which is, like, your childhood, like, celebrity crush kinda thing, where now she's, like, officially, like, "I really like this boy," like, to her sister and being
mhm.
honest and open and, like,
So,
fighting
mm,
in her.
sister, like, girl code is set in place.
Yeah.
If your sister comes to you and says, "I like this boy," if your friend comes to you and says, "I like this boy," that boy is off limits
Don't go.
until that person explicitly says it is okay, like, if things don't work out or whatever, they have to, like, I don't wanna say give you permission because that's toxic, but, like, it is it is it is not girl code to go after, a boy that your friend, like, or anyone that your friend, is romantically interested in, assuming everything is in tip-top shape, you should be supportive of your
Yeah.
friend and help them through that, with your sister, more so. So what does she do,
Yeah,
with
well,
this new information?
mind you, like, Reese has now kissed Court, like, once, which
Yes.
leads to a very
At the lake thing.
at the lake, yes, which leads to inappropriate comments from him, like, at some point, he's like, "You just almost got more than kissed," and it's like, "Okay, brother, you're 16." Like, come on.
Talking to a 14-year-old.
Yeah. But anyways, the sister, now that she's, like, opened up to her, is like, "Well, the parents are gone at the hospital. Invite them over for dinner tonight, so at least, like, I can meet them and you guys can have, like, a proper date." So, Court gets invited over for dinner, and they're, like, pretty much kissing on the front porch when Maureen shows up. And she sees this. You know, she's not oblivious to anything that's going on. And yet still proceeds through all of dinner to flirt with Court, and they basically forget Danny is there. And, like, Danny becomes the third wheel on her own date, which is
See, but I'm
absurd.
shaking my head in disgust.
Yeah. Like, we all need to establish now, Maureen fucking sucks.
She is such a shitty sister.
She's
Because
the
then
worst person ever. Fast forward now after Danny's pissed about this. She goes to the hospital with her dad to see her mom and, like, apologize to her, and everything's good. The mom's had the baby. They're all happy. Sam's no longer mad at her. Like, she's with Court. Things are looking up. Like, life is going the way she wants it to. And while she is gone,
Oh, God.
Maureen sleeps with Court in the cornfield, like on the farm, like in the field. Like, they meet up and just straight up do it.
not
getting
like
jealous.
I just want to say it isn't like in, you know, heat of the moment, like they're sprayed with the sex spray from fan fiction or whatever. It's like a very purposeful, they take off all of their clothes. It's not like a, oh my god, what just happened? It was very
They-
purposeful.
Yeah, they're acting like they're in love with each other. Like, they're straight up. I feel like, I want to say, I can't remember, but they are like, "I love you," which is crazy. Like,
Awful.
so crazy. While poor Danny is, like, oblivious and thinking her life is going good and stuff like that. But anyways, Danny and Sam come home from the hospital, and as Danny's getting out of the car, her sister runs through the back fence, still, like, tucking her shirt into her skirt and fixing herself. And Danny just knows. And
My God.
Maureen is immediately on the defense and is like, "Danny, no, I'm sorry. It was nothing that..." But Danny's like, "Fuck you, bitch," and runs off to go
Naturally.
see if this is true, if her theory is true. Now, Court, the gorgeous neighbor boy, who's decided to play with both sisters, like, this is Summer I Turned Pretty Backwards or some shit, is riding the tractor, getting to work for the day, and discovers he left his cowboy hat hanging off the branch of a tree because he put it there while he was doing it with Danny's sister. And because he's so love-filled and on top of the world and nothing could be better than this, I just lost my virginity in a field, he drives the tractor by to grab the hat and loses his balance and falls off just for the plow to run him over. And now there's Danny, who's coming to find out if he did her sister, just to find him bloody in a field, which is awful. Like, this is full trauma. Like, she went from the day of her life to, like, the worst thing imaginable that could ever happen to a person at 14 years old.
So Court, he has been plowed to bits and pieces.
Literally.
You don't really see, you see a bit of blood, but it isn't like, I don't know. Plows are very powerful, and the bit that you do see, it kind of just looks like he, like, bonked his head. Like, it doesn't look like he has just been plowed.
Yeah, which
Well,
I
It
get.
doesn't look like he's just been
realize-
run over.
I don't know if you realize the double entendre of you keep saying he got plowed.
He did
got
get
plowed
he got plowed twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm so
anyways,
frozen.
this traumatized 10-year-old me to have reoccurring dreams about it, and
I mean, yeah.
also Danny, who's 14, and just watched the first boy she ever loved in her life get brutally murdered. So she's running home.
Wait. He didn't get murdered.
Murdered by the plow.
No.
She's screaming her head off and running to get Sam, which this is probably the hottest he is in this entire movie because he immediately clocks something is wrong and takes care of it, which is amazing.
Well, Sam is, first of all, it's the summer, so they're all sweating all the time, so he's very hot already. But I don't use this lightly, daddy. I mean, he is, because he loves his wife, he loves his children, even when their children were outside and it made his wife fall down or whatever. But he is so attentive, and he knows his kids that, like, when she's running back yelling, he's like, "Oh God, something has happened."
But the worst part of this movie, at least to me, is that now that Court is dead, Maureen is past apologizing to Danny and is acting like this is the worst thing that could ever happen to her when she'd only maybe hung out with Court 2 times. And
She's
they
full
end
war
the
widow.
yeah, they end the movie with Danny apologizing to Maureen. And they make Danny seem like she's the one in the wrong.
So the only thing I want to say that we haven't touched on before we kind of get into, like, I don't know, our final thoughts on the themes of this movie is Sam he doesn't go to church. When the whole family goes to church, he goes fishing. And
Yeah.
that is, like, his way of speaking to God or whatever, because, like, he wasn't gonna be able to marry his wife unless he went to church. But that was, like, the compromise that he and his father-in-law had, I guess, that the family would go to church, he would go fishing, and he would talk to God or whatever. And at the end of the movie, he and Danny, there is actually, like, a really sweet scene where she's like, "I don't wanna go to church, can I go fishing with you?" And they go fishing together, and they have a little talk about, how life be that way. Your first crush got, plowed by your sister and plowed by the plow, and, um it's better than I'm making it sound. It's just because I forgot what they said. But, I think that is absolutely hysterical. I don't go to church, but I go fishing while my family goes to church, because that sounds, I mean, like, I know that this didn't happen, but if my mom was like, "Yeah, instead of going to church with us, your grandpa just went fishing," like, that absolutely would track. That is exactly how, men are. They refuse to, like, hang out with their family. They don't like their family. Like, men of this, you know, time period in a community like this, where family is more like something you check off a list than something you, like, actually aspire to have. But yeah, I do like that scene at the end where they're fishing together. Who is the man in the moon?
That's the thing. We never see the fucking man in the moon. We don't, like, they mention, like, oh, talking to the moon, but they never actually talk to the moon, really.
Yeah,
They tell you
wasn't the mom saying, like, if you ever have something going wrong in your life, just talk to the man in the moon? And it's, like, barely a plot point.
and they plot twist, don't talk to the man in the moon.
It's mentioned one time in the beginning, because it's very hot and humid where they live, so they sleep on the porch sometimes, and they talk about talking to the man in the moon. So at the beginning it's mentioned, and then at the end it is also mentioned. I think in, like, the oh, you and I are talking to the same man in the moon with the sisters. Um, it is a very kind of inconsequential. It's kind of a throwaway. It doesn't even really have to do with like it might not do with the plot, but if it had to do with like the theme or the message of the movie, I could be like, oh, okay, whatever. But it doesn't even really have to do with that either.
Watching this
feel like
girl have a horrible time for the whole movie.
I feel like the message of this movie is just men suck because the man in the moon is irrelevant. He doesn't exist. Sam beats his children. The boy next door is with both sisters. Maureen's ex-boyfriend was creepy, and then her ex-boyfriend's dad, who we haven't spoken about yet, is even more creepy. And there's no other men in the film. Like that's it.
And mind you, the person that plays the ex-boyfriend's dad is Blake Lively's dad in real life, which when we watched this, that's when all that drama was going down. We were
That's
like,
still happening.
yeah, that's still happening. We were all like, oh shit, we see where she gets it from. Like, it's bad.
Well, so let me say something, is I knew she was a Nepo baby, derogatory. I did not realize that I thought her dad was a, like, producer or, like, an executive. I didn't know that he acted.
Maybe this was the only thing he did. Who knows?
Play the
Possible.
creepy
Yeah.
old man in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
I
he's
mean,
like appropriately touching Maureen the whole time and like stealing her away from his son who's literally dating her. It's weird.
yeah, it's some Harvey Weinstein shit, and
I
Crack
would
me.
rename it Maureen fucking sucks.
Yeah,
Maureen is also, I mean, she's just a bad sister. Like, you can be like bitchy to other girls that you go to school with, or like people that you know, and like whatever. They're, like it's not great to be bad to your community, especially a community like that. But like, whatever. If you're a bad sister, like that is traumatizing because your siblings should be your ride or die. In evolutionary terms, you are closest to your siblings. They have the greatest understanding of what it is like to be in this world because they are most like you. And I grew up close to my siblings, so I'm obviously biased to this. We're all kind of close in age, and we spent a lot of time together. I would kill for them, and like if I hated my sister, I just feel like that would be a a a a a blow with which I could not deal. And I would especially not like it if she had sex with a boy that I liked. Removing that she's 5 years older than me, and that would be really inappropriate. But like awful, awful, despicable behavior from Maureen
It's
to
the
her
fact that she doesn't even apologize for anything. It's
Well, also, Danny doesn't do she doesn't do anything to warrant, like, Maureen getting back at her. Maureen is just, like, I don't know, more feminine, I guess? Like, she's
like frame
more
it in the movie that Maureen is a bad person. We're supposed to like Maureen.
yeah, which might
she's prettier, she's more, like, motherly, she's funnier, like, she's more suited, she's more used to having to be, like, the girl next door, where Danny is, not like that, and I don't think that Maureen is being disingenuous. I think she wants to be that way, she wants to be a housewife and stuff. There's nothing wrong with any of that. It's just that she gets in the way and I mean, Danny and Court's relationship is built on a rocky foundation of she is a child and he is almost an adult. So, like, I'm not really rooting for them either, but it's the principle of going for a boy that your sister likes. That
And you
she
know,
off limits. Off limits. That's girl
It's more than
code.
liking. She sees them together on the porch. Like, that's more than just liking.
Yeah.
Really gross.
Yeah.
Don't forget that Maureen had the audacity in front of everybody after Court died to be like screaming and crying in the house and be like, "But mom, I loved him. I don't know how to live without him." Girl, what are you
You were
talking
living
about?
without him the whole time.
Like, you didn't
I
know he existed. Calm down.
she had another boyfriend who was bad. Terrible for her.
She was going to college anyway. Like, why did I
Yeah.
don't understand her motivation. She was about to leave.
All in all,
Just
Maureen sucks. Poor Danny. I hope she really got her happy ending and said fuck you to her
I hope she
sister.
found a boy, or I hope she found someone who liked her for her. It didn't matter that she wasn't like a femme or particularly girly or anything. Like, just liked her for her. Was the baby that they had a boy in the end? I forget.
can't remember.
It's a girl. Sam gets
Uh,
screwed once again.
yeah, it's just from beating your kids. That's what it gets you.
Karma.
Oh wait, that just reminded me. The wife, or not the wife, the neighbor lady next door, the mom of Court. They
Yes.
say at some point, like she says to both of them, mind you, the mom and the dad. Oh well, if you married me, you'd have had your boy by now, because she has 3 boys, including Court, which
Oh
is
my
crazy.
God. That is an insane thing to say because it is ultimately the father's um, genes and chromosomes that determine the sex of a baby.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't actually matter. Not that they would have known that, I guess, but I know it.
Like,
Therefore, I'm
honestly,
better
in
than them.
summary, Court sucks. Maureen sucks. Everyone just fucking sucks.
Except for
My
Danny.
Yeah, except for
Danny
Danny.
just deserves better.
No, my favorite is all the letterbox reviews are like, so all this movie is about is a guy showing up, he gets with both sisters and then literally dies. Like, that's it. Which is true.
I mean,
It's like, oh damn.
there isn't really it's a lot of family drama at the end of it. Like there isn't I don't want to say there isn't a conflict because there is, but like there isn't really anything that they're all striving to. It's just like here's this like wacky summer with this like they all kind of end up the same way at the end that they started at the beginning. Like the man in the moon is literally the full circle moment. I liked it. It
I
was
like
dumb
it.
as hell, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
It has like pretty high ratings on Letterboxd too. It's despite
I
people
think,
making fun of it. It's an okay movie, especially for its time, when it came out.
yeah,
Strangely enjoyable.
it
Yeah.
is for as much as we're saying all of the characters suck, it is strangely enjoyable. That is
Mm.
true.
Way to like sum it is like, you know what? It shouldn't work, but it does.
This is making me want to watch it right now, kind of.
I
Oh,
was thinking the same.
Yeah, like why do I kind of want to watch it? But
okay.
yeah, I think
No,
that's really it. If anyone wants to throw in any more craziness, fuck Marine.
I
So what
hate
we're
her.
saying is should have been the main guy in every single movie, and it would solve all the age gap problems, and Dylan being adorable would solve all our problems.
Anyway, we should probably take a break from age gap relationship movies.
Well, we'll see. Next time we're doing a Gale movie and another Josh movie, which I think a great combination. Shaking the tree and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Two very dysfunctional a group of friends and family, um, but
See?
lots of laughs next time. So if you're you're interested in joining along, join along. We've got
Well-
plenty of movies up ahead. All right. Thank you everyone for listening. We hope we get you back next time.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Craig.